Welcome to Clear English Daily.
Your daily podcast for simple and confident English speaking. Hey everyone, welcome to Clear English Daily, your place to learn English in a fun and positive way. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike.
We are so glad you're here with us today. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been with us for a while, just know this is your space to grow, to practice, and to feel good about your English.
Sarah, can I tell you something a little embarrassing?
Always.
Okay, so yesterday I was at the store, and the person working there asked me a very normal question, very simple, and I knew the answer. I completely knew it. But when I opened my mouth, what came out was not English.
What do you mean, not English?
I made sounds. Words? Maybe, but they were in the wrong order, and my brain was moving so fast that my mouth couldn't keep up, and the person just looked at me, and I had to stop, breathe, and start again.
And then?
Then it was fine, totally fine, but for those first 3 seconds, I felt like I forgot how to speak.
And I think that happens to so many people, not just with English, but especially with English, because you know the words, you understand everything, but when it's your turn to talk, your brain just freezes.
Exactly. And today we want to talk about that moment, that gap between understanding and speaking, because that gap is where most learners get stuck.
And the interesting thing is, you don't close that gap by studying more. You close it by practicing something very specific, something most people never do.
So today's episode is about building confidence through simple daily conversations, not big speeches, not presentations, just normal life, the kind of English you actually need every single day.
But first, a very small favor.
Very small.
If this podcast helps you, please tap like, subscribe, and share it with one person who is learning English. Just one friend. You know exactly who they are.
The one who says, I need to practice speaking, but then never actually speaks.
Yes, that one. Send this to them. And we also love hearing from you in the comments. So today, finish this sentence. The daily situation where I feel most nervous speaking English is blank, and I avoid it because blank.
2 blanks. Write it in the comments. When you name the problem, you've already started solving it. That's the first step.
Okay, let's talk about this.
So here's the thing most people don't realize. When you're learning English, you spend most of your time taking English in. You listen to podcasts, you watch videos, you read articles, and all of that is good. It's necessary, but it only builds one skill.
You're building your ability to understand, and understanding is important, but fluency is not just understanding. Fluency is responding. It's your turn. It's speaking back.
And most learners never practice that second part. They listen for hours every day, but they almost never have a real back-and-forth conversation, and then they wonder why speaking feels so hard.
Can I tell you a story about this?
Please.
Okay, so a few years ago, I was learning a new language. Not English, a different one. And I was so dedicated. I listened to lessons every morning, I repeated phrases, I did my exercises. I felt really good about my progress.
You felt ready.
I felt ready. And then one day I was at a cafe and someone asked me a question in that language. A very simple question. Something like, do you want this heated up or cold?
Normal question.
Completely normal. And I froze. My mind went blank. I understood the question perfectly, but I couldn't answer. I just stood there. And then I said something in English because my brain gave up.
And how did you feel after?
Embarrassed. Frustrated, because I had been studying for months. I knew the words, but in that moment when I actually needed to use them, they disappeared.
And that moment is so common. And the reason it happens is because understanding and speaking use different parts of your brain. When you listen, your brain is relaxed. It's receiving. But when you speak, your brain has to produce. It has to choose words, build sentences, and do it fast. And if you never practice that production part, it feels impossible when you finally try.
So the question is, how do you practice production? How do you practice speaking when you don't have someone to speak with?
And the answer is simpler than most people think. You practice daily life situations, not random topics, not abstract questions, just normal life, the kind of English you actually need every single day.
So let me give you a framework for this. It's very simple. 3 steps. And you can start today.
Step 1, choose one daily situation. Just one, not 10, not everything. One situation where you either already use English or you wish you could.
Maybe it's ordering food. Maybe it's talking to your coworkers. Maybe it's asking a question at the store. Maybe it's texting a friend. Pick one.
Step 2, write down the 5 most common things you say in that situation. Not perfect sentences, just the 5 things that come up most often.
For example, if your situation is ordering coffee, your 5 things might be, I'd like a coffee, please. Can I have it with milk? How much is that? Do you have oat milk? Thank you so much.
5 sentences. That's it. And notice, they're not complicated. They're the real things you actually say, not textbook English, real life English.
Step 3. Practice saying those 5 sentences out loud every day for 1 week. Just those 5.
And I know that sounds too simple. People think, that's it? Just 5 sentences? But here's what happens. When you say them out loud every day, your mouth learns the movements, your brain learns the patterns, and the next time you're in that real situation, the words come out automatically. You don't have to think, you just speak.
Because confidence is not about knowing a lot. It's about knowing a little bit very, very well.
And when you feel confident in one situation, that confidence spreads. You start to believe, okay, I can do this. And then you try another situation and another, and slowly, English stops feeling scary.
Mike, I want to tell you what happened after my embarrassing cafe moment.
Please.
Okay, so after that day, I decided to practice one situation, just one. I chose ordering food, and I wrote down exactly what I needed to say. 5 sentences. I practiced them every morning in my room, out loud. I felt ridiculous.
Talking to yourself.
Completely talking to myself. But I did it every day for 2 weeks. And then I went back to that same cafe, and when the person asked me the question, my mouth just answered. I didn't think. I didn't freeze. The words came out.
And how did that feel?
Like magic. But it wasn't magic, it was just repetition. My brain had practiced that moment so many times that it didn't feel new anymore. It felt normal.
And that's the secret. You make the new situation feel old by practicing it in private first. You remove the surprise, and when there's no surprise, there's no panic.
Now, let me share a story too, because this happened to me recently with English. I've been speaking English for years, but there are still situations that make me nervous.
Which one?
Phone calls. I hate phone calls because you can't see the other person's face. You can't use gestures. It's just your voice and their voice. And if I don't understand something, I panic.
So what did you do?
I used the same framework. I wrote down the 5 most common things I say on phone calls. Things like, sorry, could you repeat that? Can you speak a bit slower? Let me write that down. I didn't hear the last part. And, okay, I understand now.
And then?
I practiced them, out loud, in my car, at home, until they felt automatic. And the next time I had a phone call, I used them, and it worked. I still didn't love phone calls, but I didn't feel helpless anymore.
And that's the shift we want for you. You don't have to love every situation. You just have to feel capable in it. And capability comes from preparation.
But I want to pause here because I know some people are thinking, okay, but what if my situation is more complicated? What if I need English for work meetings or presentations? Does this still apply?
Great question. And the answer is yes, because even in complicated situations, most of what you say is predictable. You have phrases you use over and over. Things like, can I add something here? I agree with that point. Could you clarify what you mean? Let me think about that. Those are your 5 sentences. You just practice those.
And once you feel confident with those 5, you add 5 more. and then 5 more. You're not trying to learn everything at once. You're building a foundation, one situation at a time.
And here's something really important. When you practice out loud, practice the way you actually talk, not the way textbooks talk, not formal, perfect English, the way you naturally speak.
Because real fluency is not about sounding like a textbook, it's about sounding like yourself in English.
So if you naturally say or well or like, keep those. Don't try to sound like a robot. Sound like a human who happens to be speaking English.
Okay, let's do a quick recap because I want to make sure this is super clear.
Step 1. Choose one daily situation where you use or want to use English.
Step 2. Write down the 5 most common things you say in that situation. Real things, not textbook things.
Step 3. Practice saying them out loud every day for 1 week, not in your head, out loud.
And that's it. 3 steps, 1 week, 1 situation. You will feel the difference.
Now, before we finish, let's do a quick word tour, because we used some important words today and we want to make sure you really understand them.
Word tour time.
First word, freeze. F-R-E-A-S-E. When you freeze, you stop moving or stop thinking because of fear or surprise. Your body or mind becomes stuck.
I was about to answer, but then I froze and couldn't say anything. Or, when the teacher called on me, I completely froze.
Next word, gap. G-A-P. A gap is a space between two things. It can be physical, or it can be a difference between what you know and what you can do.
There's a big gap between understanding English and speaking it confidently. Or, I'm trying to close the gap between my listening skills and my speaking skills.
Next phrase, come out. When words come out, it means you say them. They leave your mouth. The opposite is when words stay stuck in your head.
I knew what I wanted to say, but the words just wouldn't come out. Or, when I'm nervous, English comes out very slowly.
Next word, automatic. A-U-T-O-M-A-T-I-C. When something is automatic, you do it without thinking. It happens naturally, like breathing.
After practicing every day, the phrases became automatic. Or, I want my English responses to feel automatic, not forced.
Next word, capable. C-A-P-A-B-L-E. When you're capable, you have the ability to do something. You can handle it. You feel competent.
I don't feel capable of having a full conversation yet. Or, practicing daily situations makes me feel more capable in English.
And last phrase, build a foundation. A foundation is the base of something. When you build a foundation, you create a strong starting point that you can build on later.
I'm building a foundation by practicing simple conversations first. Or, once you have a strong foundation, learning advanced English becomes much easier.
Okay, let's bring this home.
If you take one thing from today, take this. Confidence in English doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing the right things really well.
And the right things are the daily situations you actually live in, not abstract topics, not random vocabulary, the conversations you have every single day.
So here's your tiny homework. Right now, today, before you do anything else, choose one situation, write 5 sentences, say them out loud 3 times. That's it. 5 minutes of your day.
And if you want to take it one step further, go to the comments and write this. My daily English situation is blank, and the first sentence I'll practice is blank.
When you write it down, it becomes real. And when other learners read your comment, they might think, oh, I should practice that situation too. You're helping yourself and helping everyone else.
And we read every single comment. We'll see yours.
And if this episode made sense to you, if something clicked, please share it.
Send it to one person who keeps saying, I want to improve my English, but I'm too nervous to speak.
Because somewhere right now, there's someone who understands English perfectly, but feels terrified to use it, and they think something is wrong with them.
But nothing is wrong with them. They just need to practice the right way, and this episode might be exactly what they need to hear.
So tap like, subscribe, and share. You might change someone's whole relationship with English today.
You don't need perfect English to start speaking. You just need to start.
And we'll be here with you every single step. I'm Sarah.
I'm Mike.
This is Clear English Daily. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Take care.